On another one of our videos here on YouTube. We've got 1,000+ videos on YouTube of electric fence chargers and different ones that we've worked on. We also work on livestock weigh scales and things like mostly Gallagher and Tru-Test. So there's our websites for that. There's fencerfixer.com, and then we have cattlescalerepair.com as well. There are links in the description below on every single one of our videos that will take you to our website. You just click on it, take you right there. But we give free quotes and everything. But this particular model is called a Parmak SE-2, and if you know anything about Parmak and their models, they are up to a SE-5 right now as of 2024, 2025 time frame. They came out the SE-5 about 15 years ago, 12 years ago, so it's been around for a few years now, and then this one's probably a late 90s model, so it's 25 some years old. We'll see if there's a stamp on the inside with a date on it. They used to, newer ones, the plastic ones, they put an actual sticker with a date on it when it was built, but the older ones they rubber stamped it with a date and a month and a year inside there. But the note on it says unit was not in service terribly long before it went out, so a long time ago. I believe it was a lightning issue. Unit has been in barn ever since. Don't know when the cap of the fuse holder disappeared. I did remove the rivets and looked around inside when it quit working. However, didn't attempt any repair, which is nice. I kind of like when people don't mess with stuff too much, because then you don't know if what issues did that customer cause when they were trying to jack around with it. So sometimes it's best just to leave a unit alone. Let me take a look at it for you. It's like, taking your car to a mechanic, and but you jacked around and changed a bunch of parts in it that didn't need to be changed. Now the mechanic's gotta, they gotta figure out if you messed up anything when you're messing around with it. So, yeah, I definitely got some age to it. 1992. It's older than I thought it was. See, October of 1992 is when this was built. And they got another sticker over here that says July 1994. Huh. Maybe it's when it was served. They bought it, it was manufactured in 92. Maybe Parmak worked on it in July 94, because this transformer's got a June of 94. So maybe the transformer was replaced in 1994, but the unit was built in 1992, so that's a possibility. So, well, the first thing we need to do is we need to get this fuse holder. Let's see if I got another cap for it, because you can get just the caps, but they use two different caps on the Parmak units, and I always forget which one's which. See if this one fits. Let me grab a new fuse. These take 1 amp, 250 volt fuses in their units. This might not be the right fuse holder. Nope, it's too long. They got two different ones. One that's basically they're almost the same, but this part of it is different. Some of them have use this long one, and some have a lot shorter one. But they're not universal. Like, you can't just go down to the hardware store, auto parts store, find a fuse holder, stick it in there. They're not universal. There's 30 different fuse holders out there for stuff. So let me go look and see if I got a new fuse holder, or maybe another cap that'll fit this. If not, we're gonna have to change this fuse holder out before we can even get really started with much. I mean, we can hardwire. I think I've got a 110 volt cord with a couple of alligator clips on the end. I can clip it on to the top here, basically force 110 volt power right here, and see if the thing comes on at all. Because it could be that he's just got some bad fuse stuff. They've also got this. I don't know what they called it back in the day, but what replaced it eventually was a couple of MOVs, varistors, or like surge suppression devices. They would put two of them across here, and then one of them, the other side of one of them, would go up to the metal frame here, which is what this wire is doing right there. So let me go look for either new fuse, a fuse cap. If I can't find one, I've got other ones we can stick in here. But before I put that in there, I'm going to put power right to it and see what happens. So give me just a moment here. Okay, I couldn't find a new replacement cap for this version, and I didn't have a new fuse holder for the Parmak. I got a fuse holder, but not the one that goes right in the same spot. If we put another fuse holder in there, we're going to have to modify the case to make the new one fit. So, but what we're going to do first, I've got this power cord here, AC cord. It's got a couple of clips on the end of it, and what we'll do is we'll just hook it on to the top side of the fuse holders on both. That basically, because the power comes in to the back side of both fuses, then it goes through the fuse to the top side of the fuse holders, and then it goes to this and bridges out to everything else. So we're basically bypassing the fuse holders and putting power straight to it. So let's plug this in, and hopefully no freaking smoke sparks and jump out anywhere. There we go. Turn the power strip on in 3, 2, 1. Okay, no smoke, but no clicky, no noise. I really hope it's not this dumb thing. Those input transformers are a real nightmare to change. It's like the last thing you really want to jack around with, because they're really hard to get out of there. They're like riveted to the case, this frame here, and you really can't get a drill bit at it. So what we always do, we take a skinny, thin, cold stone chisel, and we go down between the case, or between this piece here and that lip there, and we just beat the living daylights out of it, out of the back side of it with a small sledge to beat those, bust those. And they're not like regular rivets; they're like thick, almost bushings, and they're metal, and they take some persuasion to break. And the only other way, see, because I think how they built these things and everything, because this piece here is got the same big rivet bushing things. There's one there, there's like 3 or 4 of them across the frame there, holding that metal dividing plate to the frame. So I think what they did back in the day, they'd put all this crap on this first, this, the board, whatever, onto this, and then they would, maybe not the board, but at least this piece onto this, and they would take this, bolt it down or whatever to the case, and then they would start wiring up everything to it, because there's no way to put those in there when this thing's already installed into the case, because it's there's no good angle to get at anything. So I think what we'll do first is we'll probably change out, we'll check the capacitor, because it's 30 some years old, but these capacitors hardly ever go bad. So, but what we'll have to do is this transformer's been replaced. I can tell because they've got this loop right there, because the original one went all the way up there and soldered right to it. Well, the new ones, I guess the wire was a little too short, so they just made a little like hook in it, hooked the 2 wires together and soldered them together, which is fine, which is what Parmak recommends to do when they're too short. So I think this transformer was changed like 2 years after this thing was built. Alright. Now, one other thing it could also be is this device here could be bad. But I don't know how to, you really can't test that piece. It's not, the only thing we could do is put new ones in there, which is what these things right here are. We got these 4 or 5, and then there's a couple more loose ones sitting up there. We could replace that if it's indeed bad. But let's, with that board being as old as it is, let's go ahead and change out this board to a new style one, and then we'll kind of move on. Let me go grab a new board first, because I remember what wires stay and which ones go. All right, here's what a new circuit board looks like. This is, for the SE-2. Identical, well, updated board, but this is the one that replaced this board years later. So this is a direct one from the manufacturer. So it's like the green and yellow wire go away. We'll leave them, we'll just cut them right here, because what we'll do is we'll just splice these into these wires here on this one. And then looks like this yellow wire goes away as well. This is the feedback wire, so basically through magnetic field of the transformer pulse, this feedback wire tells us, eventually works its way to this gauge, these two wires here, and tell that gauge what to show on the front there. They've been doing that feedback loop thing. They even do it on their current generation stuff now. They've been doing that gimmick with their stuff for 40 years, long time. All right, so we've got to snip that wire there, because these ones, they are hardwired and soldered. The older ones, later ones, they were screwed down to the board, which is what this has got on this one. It's got the little screw down terminals on it. Okay, now these have these three little standoffs, I think they call them, that the board sets on, because this whole case is ground, metal. The whole thing is ground for the electric fence. And they put those plastic stands on there to keep the board from shorting out to the case, of course. So there's the board. Yeah, it's better just to change it with the age of it and stuff. Okay, so now we got to do some stripping here. We may need to put some new wires on some pigtails onto the board. If some of these wires are too short to reach. But we need to replace these standoffs, because you really can't save them. They end up breaking most times, and they're cheap enough. We just break them and put new ones in. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay. All right, let's get these plastic standoffs out of here. All right, I got a big bag of them right here. 3 of them. So that's what they look like. Just slip into these little holes. All right, so let's get the new board. Let's go ahead and get some stuff out of the way a little bit here so I can turn this. There's holes in the board. That. Now we're going to have to move this capacitor out of the way, because we got to get to these little things there, and you got to get a little screwdriver on there, and sometimes there's a bad angle of getting to it, so we may need to move the capacitor out of the way. We'll see. Let's see. Yeah, it's just going to make it easier. Just get that out of the way. So let's and we'll check this capacitor here in a second. Hopefully this whole thing's doesn't spin on me, which it feels like it kind of is. See, later ones, they put the capacitor right here, had a stud mount, and it would come out to here, and then you loosen the nut up on the back. But these older ones had this installed right there. Let's check this capacitor. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this out of the way or not. Hopefully it's good. We don't have to change it. Okay, this is a 30 microfarad capacitor in these bigger Parmak units. They don't go bad all that often. Ooh. Well, it's bad for sure, probably from age. So we'll need to change that out. So we got to get this out now. Let me go grab another capacitor real quick too. All right, here's a new capacitor. It's got the stud on the back, but we need to get all this wiring off here. But we'll come on. So we got to get this out of there. Don't know if this. Come on. Oh, there we go. Yeah, look, it's the same brand. They use a Ronken, R-O-N-K-E-N capacitor. And look at this, the replacements. Same brand, made in USA. Okay, so we'll still leave that there. It's not any. Yeah, we'll put that in a second. Let's get these wires installed. Sorry, I got these little clips we got to push down. See, that capacitor just kind of in the way because you got to get to each one of those. And those capacitors get in the way there. Turn it, get a better view at what I'm trying to do here. Come on. God dang. Okay. There's those. Get this nut lock washer pulled off here. Let's put that right there. There's that. Let's check this capacitor just to verify it's good. They're not electrolytic, so there's no, they don't have a polarity to them. 30.7, right where it's supposed to be. Okay. So this wire here, let's see, I need a Phillips screwdriver, loosen up all three of these screws a little bit. This one is long enough, we can just shove it in there, tighten it up. Okay, let's see. Need some new wires. I'm just going to use some black and red because that's what I've got handy here. We'll put the yellows together. So this one's going to be long enough that we can just crimp on in a couple female spade connectors. We'll need 3, I think. We'll just shove that on there. Should be long enough. Get these crimps out. We'll completely missed that one. Okay, should be long enough. Okay, that one time I grabbed. So we'll plug that on like that. And then we'll take this red wire, we'll strip off. This is a little bit bigger gauge. I need a bigger spade connector. Plugged it on right next to it. Okay, and this, I'm just going to go over, cut this a little long, and that goes right there, but we don't need that much. We can cut off a little bit. That should be long enough. Okay, let's see. But to make this install a little bit easier, this wire, because it's stranded and it's going to want to fray apart. Even though I twisted the wires together, I'm going to solder them. I'm going to call it tinning the wire. We're going to basically coat the whole thing in solder. That way it's solid. It can't, the little strands of wires can't separate. And then we're going to loosen it up just a little bit more, because I think this is a little bit bigger gauge wire than what was on there originally. Okay, that's in there. Okay, now we'll take this black wire, strip it back. Another blue female spade connector. And then we'll plug it on here. And this wire is going to go like that. Okay, that's just about perfect length. We'll strip that back. We'll tin this wire with some solder. Loosen that up just a little bit more. Come on, get in there. Ooh, it's a little bit hot. Let me get the... Come on. Tighten it up. Okay. Now we got to get this feedback wire through, which is always a little short, but we'll see what we can do. We may need a splice. So this feedback wire goes through the top and out the bottom. Come on. Okay, it's wanting to turn on me. We'll grab this wire, and as we feed it through, we'll lift it up. get as much of that to come through as I can. Should be just long enough. They make them just long enough on that feedback wire. We may need to. I think it's going to be easier if we just splice, because I need smaller fingers, and my fingers aren't going to get any smaller. But we don't need any big gauge wire, so I got this little, I don't know, size 22 gauge or whatever it is. So turn it this way. We're going to put that in like that, and then we'll cut that there. I think we'll be able to solder and heat shrink that together. There's my heat shrink. Let's get the solder out. We'll tin the wires to make them, coat them in solder. Same thing over here. Slide the heat shrink down. That's kind of big. Heat shrink's a little on the big side. Let's go down a size smaller. Ooh. Alright, and then we'll, I don't know my heat gun is. I think I loaned it out to my brother-in-law for something, so I'll take my soldering iron, because you need good heat to make these this heat shrink. So a trick I used to do when I was younger, just take the soldering iron. Takes a little longer, but you just like put it across there. And you don't leave it in one spot too long; it won't melt through, and it just shrinks down for you that way. Okay, so now we'll get a couple butt connectors, and these ones aren't super crucial on soldering, so we'll just use some butt connectors and go yellow to yellow, green to green between these wires and those wires. Okay, still got to take care of that fuse holder, but let's just see for at the moment this thing will fire up. Hoping it will. All right, 3, 2, 1. It's clicking, but it's arcing right there. I don't know what the hell that thing is right there. They eventually got rid of that. See if the gauge moves at all. Okay. Good, we've got her whooped. So now we need to change out the fuse holder and get this out of here, because that's what's arcing us. I don't know what that was used for back in the day. They got rid of them after this model. When they went to the SE-3, whatever this was went away. Okay, so now we need to take care of the fuse holder. Let's snip that off that one side. Come on. There's some grime on those threads and the thing's not wanting to turn. I'm probably going to change out these terminals, the hardware on it, because man, they're all rusted. So I've got that stuff here, so we'll take care of that as well. Come on. That solder, when they soldered those on there, it kind of blubbed it out a little bit. You made it a little too tall for that cap or that holder to come out of there. Alright, so here's the fuse holder that we're going to install. It's this type right here. It's got a threaded knob on it, cap, versus that push and turn type. I like these ones better. Parmak ones aren't bad, but some of the other brands that have external fuse holders are like Cyclops. Those fuse holders are junk. We'll take this nut off there. So it's not going to physically fit in there. See, it will not go. The threaded part of this housing is a little big. So what we do, we'll take a stepper bit. We don't want to make it a perfect circle. The hole in the case, because when you go to tighten up the nut, if you make it a perfect circle, the whole fuse housing piece wants to spin. If you try to grab it with a pair of pliers to hold it, you usually squeeze a little too hard and you end up cracking and breaking it. So they're called it's like a D-shaped hole. It's got a flat edge to it. And the same with the threads on there. They're not a perfect circle. They got a flat edge to it on the side there. See, there's no threads right there. So once you put it in there, once it starts to tighten up and turns so far, it hits the side of the case, and the case actually is like your third hand to help hold things for you. So we're going to need to make this a little bit bigger. And then I basically use this as a saw, chisel. Actually, I need a different one. The longer one. I may need to get a bigger, or a drill bit, or a new battery here soon. Test fit it, see if it's better. A little ways to go. Just keep test fitting it until we're getting close. A little bit more. Try on this side over here. Don't know if that was quite enough. God, we're getting there, almost there. I think this might be it. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's going to work. I'll put this little deal on there. Shove that on like that. Get the nut on there. Come on. Don't cross thread on me now. There we go. Whoa. Every once in a while I come across one of these that it tightens up so much, and then the dumb thing, then it's like stripped. I'm like, this is brand new, so why is it stripped? Or like the whole that's nut never wants to tighten up. And this is one of them. I buy these in like bags of 10 or 20 at a time, and there's always like one or two of every bag that's of those fuse holders that does this to me. I got about 2 or 3 left in that bag. I need to get some more. I don't know if it's the nut or this piece. I never know. So I've got a few more here. I actually think it's the nut. Come on. Oh, cross-threaded on me. Come on. Start to get frustrated. I need there's just no room. Plus I'm not left-handed, so then it's trying to do things ass backwards for myself. Get on there, you stupid nut. See, he gets on there cockeyed. There. Please tighten up and don't strip out. Yeah, this one's working. This one's fine. Oh, that one tightened up. Okay. Turn around. Let's take... I'm going to keep the fuse holder and cap and stuff, but I think the nut on there is what's messing me up on the old one, or the other one. Fuse back in there. Alright, so now we need to get, I probably should have stripped these back before I put the fuse holder in there. I'd have a little more room. Strip these off. Okay. Alright, so now what we need to do, solder back out. We need to add some solder to the tabs on the fuse. And then we need to add some solder to there. And then where's the other wire at? Okay, let's add some solder to that. Take the power cord that goes to the back side of the fuse. Now, if this doesn't work with this setup, then we're going to have to change out this. I think it's going to work, though. Okay, hold on. We need to... Okay, this is probably going to fight me a little bit because you got 3 connections there at once. They're all coated in solder, so they ought to just blend together, but okay, I think all 3 of those are nice and tight where they're supposed to be. Let's dump out the crud that's building up. Now let's see if it go to working. Now if it does, then we just need to do that output stuff, and I think we'll be good to go. Let's we'll use the actual cord on the unit. First we're going to clean it. It's all covered in it's all covered in barn dust. Alright, let's plug it in, turn the power strip on, see what happens. Alright, almost done. Let's spray these down real quick. I think these are going to fight me a little bit. Let's put a little love juice on there. While those are soaking, I'm going to go grab some new hardware. Alright, I got new wing nuts and new little washer holder, wire holder things. Well, that one come right off. I'm going to clean those terminals, we'll use that wire brush Dremel tool to clean them up, the threads, and try to get rid of some of that rust. And actually, we might just change out that bolt, because we got to get this thing off there anyways. Let's snip this wire here. And then we'll need, I think it's this, I think this is a, yeah, that's that one right there. Because we got to pull this all off here anyways to get that stupid thing off there. Okay, that thing is on there freaking tight. Okay, let's get the Dremel tool out here. All right. Let's see, it's like that. All right, so we need to, let's put a ring connector on this wire here. Should be long enough, so we'll put that like that. Run that through like that. Come on, there's that. Ooh, that seems a little short. Let's see. Come on. I mean, a longer bolt. Come on. What is going on here? No, I just had it in wrong. That's what my problem was. So put that on like that. I'll put this nut on there. And we'll tighten that up. Okay, now get the new hardware on there. Okay, let's get this. Now I don't put rivets back in the case. I use some short self-tapping screws. Oh, come on, case, go back on there. Come on. All right, all the holes line up. Let's plug it in, plug it in. All right, let's get this back here like that. Let's... The gauge ain't working. It was working a little bit ago, so probably something came unplugged. All right, let's just test the output. I'll fix that here in a second. So probably one of the green or yellow wires is touching, or it's somewhere it shouldn't be touching. Oh shit. Okay, what did we do wrong? Why isn't everything's where it needs to be? Nothing's come unplugged. Now the gauge is working. Let's test the output real quick. Turn it off. Let's go right to the terminals here. Fuck. Alright, well, we got another problem. We got a bad transformer. Even though the gauge is showing good, we're getting nothing at the terminals. Now I got a debate. I got to add this up in my head real quick. See if it's going to be worth it. You know, there's a little labor, 20 bucks for doing the whole thing. You got a $25 capacitor. You got about a $30-something board. You got about a $5 fuse holder with a fuse. And you got about a $25 transformer. It'd be basically new. All this would be new. Only be original would be that. And those don't go bad all that often. So, what we got? You know, 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 80. About 80 bucks. Plus another, we'll say $15 labor, so 95. Another, where's he live at? State. He's in Texas. So another $15 shipping. Yeah, I have a little $100 in this thing. $110 with parts, labor, shipping. And it'd be basically new. In a brand new unit. This has a 1.5 year warranty on their parts. Brand new unit of an SE-5 is about 175 bucks. And these old ones are a lot more reliable than the newer ones are. So he might go for it. So, well, I'll have to call that. Maybe I'll make a part 2 on this, but I need to probably call it quits for now until I talk to the customer, because it does need a capacitor, board, transformer now, and the hardware, which is another, like, I don't know, $5 for all the hardware, I guess. I'm not sure. So let me call him up. Let me write him up. I'll call him up and see what he has to say. Well, until next time, see you guys later on. Hope you enjoyed this. See you later.